Hello and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is March 13th, 2015. My name is Lynn Marquidant and I'm your host. Thanks for joining tonight. What are you working on? We're going to spend the next 60 minutes working together in our fiber studios, so thanks for joining me. Tonight we're going to make another Dear Jane block. I thought I would do the D-4 Crystal Star. And I have it all ready. I'm going to do it in a beachy colored, sandy colored fabric along with my white. Because I saw the sun this week, I hope you guys did too, and we're 1 week away from spring. So bring on spring. So that's what I thought we'd do. Send me your emails, post what you're working on. I have some pictures that I'm going to share with you. I'm at lmarquidant@gmail.com. You can also post it to our Facebook page, to Simply Colorful, so facebook.com/Simply Colorful, or on the Google page, whatever you would like. And happy Friday, everyone. So again, I wanted to show you, these are my Dear Jane blocks so far. They're mounting up, right? This one that I did last week was not my best effort, very subtle. But it'll do. I still kept the paper piece, so if I want to, I could redo it. But we'll see. That's after I get everything else done. But some of them are still really fun, huh? Look at this. That's kind of neat. The illusion, this is actually Monopoly fabric. It's the question marks in that teal. And I know we've done this before, but it's fun to look. How are you all coming on your Dear Janes? I'm pretty sure Lima's going to start hers. Oh, that's very light. Look at that. It matches my shirt. Here's one. Maybe you remember these. Can you believe we've been working on this for over a year? On and off, of course. I don't think we'll do Dear Jane next week, by the way. And you know what I'll do? I'll show one more, and then I'll save the rest for halfway through. Ooh, that's very light. Let's get started, and we can look at the rest. I got carried away. So fun to look rather than work. But we have now probably 55 minutes that we have to get a lot done. So what I have is I have the Dear Jane software and book. So I'm going to put the book aside just for a minute. And oh, I don't think I showed what this block looks like. If you can see it, it's that one. See that? And again, for anyone who is looking for a tutorial per se, this probably isn't the place. Although you can watch me do it, but this is really just all about sewing together, and I just happen to be working on my Dear Jane. So I printed out my pieces on using my Dear Jane software, and it's part foundation paper piecing and part applique. And I'm back to my contacts, so I'll have to use my reading glasses again. I go back and forth. I've been wearing my progressives for a week, and I thought I would switch it up. Actually, that's not true because I didn't wear my progressives in DC. Had a great trip, really a very good trip down to Falls Church right outside of Washington, DC earlier this week. I went down on Sunday and came back Tuesday morning, and oh, I actually posted a picture. It wasn't a very good picture, but I put it on Facebook. Is when we came back, it was an early morning flight, and the sunrise was pretty. And we came back up from Washington, D.C., up over the Cape of Massachusetts, or actually along the coast of Rhode Island, and then up around the Cape of Massachusetts up to Boston. And we were low enough so that I could see the Newport, I could see the bridges going into Newport, I could see all of the waterways in southern Rhode Island. They're just beautiful. And then when you went around, I could see the Elizabeth Islands. I could see the Vineyard. I could even see Nantucket at one point, all three. And then I saw the Cape and the Arm and huge ice. Not that I could see what I've been seeing on the pictures, which are the big chunks of ice coming off the beach per se, but I could tell that there was just a lot of ice along the ridges of the shoreline. Really amazing. I find these blocks are so small that I can get away with cutting them with my scissors. So I'm cutting the middle piece right now. So tomorrow is finally our big reveal at Textile Tarts. We get to see the doll challenge results. And I must say, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm thankful that I took a picture of the original parts. It was a long time ago, man. It was last fall that we got them. I'm not doing a very good job here. And just as a reminder for anyone who might not know, the challenge was that, so this is a doll making group I participate in over in Northborough. And these people have been making, most of the people in the group have been making dolls for a very long time. And so many of them have partially completed dolls. And so the challenge was for everyone to bring in parts of a doll, put it in a bag, put it in the middle of the table, and then we randomly picked someone else's doll parts. And we went home, and we've had since November to put them back together into a doll. And then we're bringing it back tomorrow. We got snowed out last month. We're bringing it back tomorrow, and we're going to put them in the center of the table, I guess, and try to guess whose doll it was originally and who finished it. I don't think, although maybe others who are in the group and know each other's work, I think it'll be very hard to tell who did what, but we'll see. So that'll be fun. And I'm trying to take pictures for Sarah, who might be out there. She's coming back from Florida. She's driving with her husband. And she said she won't be back in time for the meeting. So I told her I'd take pictures. So that's what's exciting for this week. I'm glad it's Friday. Not much on the news, really, other than bad news, you know. And you can read that rather than me rehashing that, huh? But again, FiberCast is just about sewing and getting things done. And some Friday nights, I will tell you the truth, I'm more eager to, I always love the cast part. It's the showboater in me. But sometimes, you know, I'm not all that keen to get back to sewing, but I tell you, an hour goes by really fast, 60 minutes, and it's amazing what we get done in 60 minutes. And I'm always thankful when I'm done that I just did it, like exercise, you know, because we do get a lot done. So now I have my 4 paper pieces for the outside edge, and I have my middle square. So once I do one of these, you'll see what we're aiming for. And I have my machine all threaded. I'm going to put it down to 1.9, my stitch size. And then I have pieces of my 2 fabrics all cut out and ready to use for paper piecing. So that should go quickly. And then literally, it's on the back of this. And those of you who have watched me before, you know that I try very hard. I'm just going to try not to worry about wasting fabric. Okay. And you use a lot of thread. This is not like leader ender. Oh, I can't wait for our retreat. I am already planning on packing a suitcase full of scraps for that camper quilt. Can't wait to play with my buds. So there's 2 pieces, and actually I'm going to iron it. You know what I'll do is while I let that rest, I'll do another one. Okay. Oh, guess who's coming to town in early April? Yep. KB. She's coming to watch the college hockey in downtown Boston. She and her husband, and they're going to visit us, and she has planned it so that she can be here on that Friday night. Okay, so we've got 2. We'll do 2 more. This white is very easy to do backwards, isn't it? The reason I have my stitch length, I'm even going to tighten it even more, 1.7. You put your stitch length to be really tight so that the paper will tear off easily. And you might notice I'm not using newsprint. I'm using regular copier paper because it's all I had here right now. You may have noticed I have newsprint, links to newsprint right on my website. Ooh, I've got threads all over me. I try to put things that I talk about on the show right there in case you're interested, like my Fitbit. I am loving my Fitbit still, but I have to tell you, I ran into my foot problem. I wasn't wearing the right shoes. Of course, this is all self-diagnosed. As Bridget would say, I've Google diagnosed myself. And I'm 90% sure I have plantar fasciitis. And man, does that hurt. But I've been wearing new shoes and with more support, and it seems to be getting better every day. It's kind of like a bruise on my heel from what I can read. It's actually the ligament that goes from your heel through your arch to your toe. You can look it up, plantar fasciitis. I guess it's kind of common. I'm sure if I lost weight, it would help a lot. Okay. Anyway, I've still been wearing my Fitbit, and I haven't been going my 10,000 steps, except for, no, I haven't been going 10,000 steps for a few weeks now. But I love the Fitbit that it tracks that. Okay, so now I've got all 4. And now I'm just going to put this other one on. And you'll notice I'm wasting a lot of this fabric. But this is going to go in my suitcase, and I'm just going to use it as crumbs when I work on my camper quilt. Oh, this one might be trickier because that's going to go over like that. Aha! KB, where are you? Okay, so if I do that, okay, that'll work. Hey, did you guys notice what's behind me? It's the brown two-color delight mystery quilt. It's not completely quilted. I'm doing it myself on my Bernina. And it's, I mean, it needs a lot more quilting, although I'm not going to do it really tight. It's a polyester batting. I wanted to try that. It was on sale at Joann's. And I wanted something really light that, because, you know, that dog is going to make a mess, that I could throw in the washing machine. And I can do that with cotton too, but I just thought I'd try something different. So it's relatively light, and I've done lots of channel sewing down it with my walking foot. I wonder if I have, don't mind me, I'm looking for my cutter, my cutting pad. This is where I have different copies of Dear Jane patterns all printed out, so that, and I'd encourage you to do that. I just have a few printed out, not all of them, but if, say, I have an hour and I just want to get something done, I don't have to go through the whole process of setting up my PC and printing things out. I can just pick one up and go. Pretty satisfying. But now I'm looking for my cutting pad, a little mini cutting pad. I have these two things, but I need a pad. We'll find it. Let's keep going a little bit further. Actually, I'll do one more and then I'll check my email and see who's out there. We have lots of new followers, and I have a friend that I work with who was over in, granted, it's just a town over, in Framingham, I think is where she was. She was getting her hair done, and she got to talking to a woman who was in the other chair. And I guess this is not a very busy salon, usually not many people. And they just struck up a conversation, and the woman was saying she was a quilter and she was looking for quilting lessons. And then my friend mentioned FiberCast, and that the woman, is it Marcia? If you're out there, hi. Marcia apparently knew about FiberCast. What a small world, huh? Needless to say, my coworker was astounded. So thank you, Marcia. You made my day. See, I'm wasting a lot of fabric, but it's the only way for me to just know that I'm going to have enough for the pattern. And I guess the faster I use my fabric, the more quickly I can go get more. Okay, this is the last one, and you'll see every time I fold back the pattern and I just rough cut it. Okay, so now we have, oh, no, it's going to go this way. We have 4 pieces that are ready to cut and then set in Y seams. Oh boy. You know what? I'm going to leave the outer edges uncut for now, in case I have to do any sliver trimming up. I'll have more leeway on the outside. See, and I'll leave this undone for now. So let's see. And I'm literally going to sew it right down. I'm sewing on the outside of this line like a seam so it can go over. Okay, there's one. It's a happy warm sand color, huh? Okay, now I'm going to cut another one. Okay, so there's another one. I'm going to sew that on the other end. There are going to be 4 Y seams in every corner. This is going to be interesting. So I'm being careful, or sort of careful, not to go over the end here. I can't have a stitch over the Y seam intersection in every corner. Okay. There we go. So there we have 2. Let's cut off one more, then I'll see. Well, no, you know what? Let's see who's out there. We'll work on these 2 in just a minute. I think I heard my phone buzz. I did. Joyce. Hi, Joyce. Joyce says, I hope you don't mind, but I'm changing up the back of my 2-color mystery quilt from your design. Not at all. I cannot wait to see what you've done with it, Joyce. Joyce says she's changing up the back and working on it now. Oh, cool. I will bring it on our retreat to sandwich and pin since there will be plenty of floor space. I can't wait to show it to you. Oh, that's excellent. I can't wait to see it. And if we do FiberCast from there, we can show everyone else on the call. Just as a reminder for everyone, Joyce has done the mystery quilt in black and white. I cannot wait to see it. How's nice to hear from you, Joyce. I miss you. Oh, Maureen. Maureen says, I started a doll 2 years ago. I have a torso and a head sewn together. Maybe I'll pull her out. Oh, I would love that. Let's do that. Let's do a doll soon. I'd love to see yours. And Chris out there, hi Chris, if you're there from Dockside Quilting, Chris says, can you make 1.5-inch squares on your AccuQuilt? Absolutely. We can crank a lot of them right through it. I'll bring that to the retreat. Oh, and everyone will be glad to know, maybe, I ordered myself a new phone. And I just randomly hit one of the messages. There are a lot of messages here. Okay. Ooh, Sue Norton sent us a tip, I think. Back of scored paper. Okay, she sent us this picture, and leave it to me, I'm reading backwards. So look at that for a second. And then let's go back. Okay, Sue is sending us a paper piecing tip. Okay, Sue says, not sure if you can see from these pictures, but I score each fold line with a serrated fabric marker so it's easy to see the lines on the back side of the paper and easy to fold right on the line before I trim the 1/4 inch. Not my original idea, but a great tip to share. I'll be watching FiberCast as always. Oh, and you're making the same block. You know what? I do get it, and I love that idea. So can everyone see? This is Sue's. I think you're making the same block. Maybe not. D-4. Although it might be a little thinner. Thank you for that tip. And again, here's Susan, what she was talking about. And I love this idea. So she scores the paper piece so that on the back you can see it. And I know my mother had like a pink scorer when we were kids. I'm going to have to find something that I can do that with. Thank you for the tip, Sue. Oh, and I did just see a note. Let's see. Aha. Oh, KB. KB says she's cutting for her postage stamp quilt project and fabric swap. And she has discovered there are no 1.5 inch square templates for the AccuQuilt. Instead, it's 1.5 inch strips. So you cut all the strips and then you turn them 90 degrees and then you cut them again. So for good or bad, that's what we'll do. And she's actually offering it to lend us for the retreat. And we might just take you up on that. Stay tuned. I'll let you know before you mail it. Thank you. I'm so glad you're out there, KB. I'm so glad you're all out there. Isn't it cool to have a hobby that we all like? Oh my goodness, everyone's here. And we have some new folks. Hi, Gina, welcome. Deepatco, welcome. Honey Bear. Okay, here, welcome Carolyn R. She says, hi, Lynn. I am Carolyn R. from Northern California. My husband and I retired 13 years ago here in the Shasta Lake area. I started watching in January. I was looking on YouTube. What a nice surprise. I watch on Saturday because I'm not home on Friday at the time. I saw your show, The Pattern of the Bear. I made her about 18 years ago. Lots of fun. I thought you would like to see her, so I have a pic in front of a quilt I did in 2003. I will try tonight to watch live if I can figure out how to get the show. I really enjoy what you bring to the sewing crafting world. Thanks, Carolyn. Oh, Carolyn. What a delight that you have joined us. And here, folks, is a picture of the bear. And it looks beautiful. What a nice job. Here's a picture of the bear, the pattern for which my mother gave us last week from her knitting circle. Right there. And I held it up last week and I said, someday we're going to have to make that. And look at this, Carolyn's done it. Oh, I love her. And again, she's in front of, so let me read this again. In front of a quilt she did in 2003, which I love too. That's lots of small pieces and it looks like it's kind of Civil War print type. Well, thank you for joining, and aren't you lucky to live in Northern California? Ah, keep watching, Carolyn. So glad to have you. One more, then I'll keep going. Oh, Lorna. She says, sorry, I'll be missing FiberCast. She says, hi, Lynn. I'm in Arizona. Hubby taking son and nephews to a Dodger spring training game. Hopefully while I'm there at the game, I'll be able to hit some quilt shops. She says, hello to everyone and have a great FiberCast. Well, hello, Lorna. Have a great time. Ooh, and tell us about the quilt shops you find. Okay. So let's see about continuing on this block so that we can do some Y seams and some applique. Can you believe before we know it, we'll be down on the vineyard again, doing more of this Dear Jane quilting? I am ready for summer. And I know I was looking at the snow outside, and it's not going to be gone anytime soon, I fear. Okay, so if I should take these pieces off now. Not yet, I'm talking to myself. So here's this. I'm going to put it down on top. Pins. Oh, and another fun story. So the not so fun part is this week I had to go start another root canal. Gee, between my feet and my teeth. Anyway, ended up, it was the most sunny day of the week. So I was just in a great mood, as were the dentist and hygienist. So we really were enjoying ourselves, and we got to talking about the fact that, so Dr. Wendell, if you're out there, hello. We were talking about her daughter, who is graduating from the University of Vermont this spring, and that's where I went. And she's applying to where I work. So we had that in common, and we hit that off. Well, come to find out, she's also a quilter. So we talked about FiberCast, and she said that's what she does to unwind and be creative. After helping all of us age gracefully, that's what she does. So what a small world, huh? This craft of quilting crosses so many of our paths. Okay, so I'm doing my first Y seam. And I literally have taken a pin and I've put it through the point for each of both sides. Oh, and this is reminding me of Carol Doak, which is then reminding me of Renee, who last week, after we were done with FiberCast, wrote us a note and said, the cruise with Carol Doak was fantastic. So if anyone is thinking of doing that, there is a good review. We're glad you're back and hope your cold is better, Renee. Okay. So there's one Y seam done. I'm going over here. Sue Norton, I bet you would like to take a class with Carol Doak. Because you're really cruising on your Dear Jane, and not that she does Dear Jane, but she is very precise, and she'll have tips too. Although you're on your way. Maybe you don't need it, but it would be fun. Meanwhile, I'm using the seam ripper. Patty in Texas, thank you for sending. Actually, several of you sent me the explanation for why your seam ripper has the red ball on it. Can you see that? Probably not. You have to put it over here near the white. The reason for the red ball is that in theory, you're supposed to use the sharp point up through a few stitches and cut a few stitches, and then turn this over and put the ball underneath, and then use it like a razor blade and just cut along your open stitches. Brilliant, huh? I made a mistake and oh, there we go. I caught the edge of my corner of the other block. Okay. So what's everyone doing this weekend? I tell you, it's almost time to get out there and wash our cars. Anyone else have piles of dog droppings from the winter? So funny, our front yard is a landmine. Saw a great history show up at our library this week, unexpectedly. Bob and I went up, and Jean was there. Hi, Jean, if you're there. Great show. The author of The Uncommon Common was Skyping in from down south, and he was just a wealth of information from all of his research that he'd done about our town before he moved. Okay, so we're 3/4 of the way done with the Y seams. Actually, halfway done with the Y seams. So far, so good. All right. When I was there at the library, I picked up, again, this spring theme, I picked up a flowering book. And I should have brought it up with me to show everyone. It actually had gardeners from around the country, and it showed them, it had a picture of them in black and white, and then it showed pictures of their gardens. And their gardens really were more like estates, just beautiful. They were rolling, natural hardscaping with it. And I'll show it next week. I should be able to keep it for another week. And there was a woman there that I've heard my mother talk about for years. Her name was Polly Hill, and she was profiled in one of the chapters in this book. So that was kind of interesting. I'm sure that many of you have seen that book, and I'll pull it up. But they interviewed her, and what I found interesting was she wasn't afraid to try things, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. She talked about growing a whole group of conifers early on that actually ended up not living for more than maybe 10 years. And she ultimately, so I should just sort of skip ahead. So I guess her parents bought a whole bunch of land in 1929. And her mother was not a gardener, and her father might have liked to watch the gardening. So she was really self-taught. And then she went to lots of schools and ended up teaching lots of other people. But now the property is beautiful to walk around. And I want to say I don't know if it's a state park. I don't know that. It's an arboretum. And it's lovely. I have in my side yard, the north side of my house, our house, is shady, dark, slightly sloped, and dry. And I cannot get anything to really take hold there. And plus, the soil is crummy. So that's probably where I should start. I've tried Vinca. I've tried, I have some hosta over there. I've tried Pachysandra. I've tried ivy. Weston Nurseries gave me the name of a plant. Of course, now I can't remember it, and it really did work, but it doesn't spread much, so I would need a ton of them. That's not helping you much because I don't know the name of the plant. Anyway, it's that time of year now, isn't it? How many of you do annuals? How many of you garden? I do find that and I bought some kale seeds. I bought two kinds, red kale and green kale. But what I was starting to say was I do find that many quilters are also gardeners, whether it's a perennial garden like Jean has started the last couple of years, or whether it's vegetables or both. I like how using my pin to get the corners is working. Seems to be aligning it fairly well. So this was kind of interesting. My dentist, Dr. Wendell, her daughter is applying to EMC where I work, and she called me this afternoon, which I was really impressed with, a college student calling me on a Friday night. And she has been, as part of she's interviewing for a leadership program, an IT leadership program. It's a 24-month rotational program. Awesome opportunity for a new graduate. As part of her interview, she has to create a video of why she would be good at EMC to do this internship. How's that for the world changing? Can you imagine? All right, folks. Look at that. Beachy, compassy. Here's the back so far. And I think even before I square it up, because I don't have my mat here, I think now, just to remind everyone what we're making, it has 4 little petals in the corners. And again, this is D-4 Crystal Star. And I cut out 4 petals here that I thought I would iron on. Actually, I have two. This is about the right amount of applique for me. Wendy, if you're out there from the vineyard, we'd love to see some of your applique work. Wendy, is a reminder, she's the one who does the Oh My Gosh quilts and the beautiful Baltimore album quilts. I'll see you soon this summer. And I'm curious if others do this, but see, I'm cutting it out like this. And then I literally will take my needle and I will baste it under. See, so there I've got 4 of these. Now I literally have a needle threaded. This is little. I probably don't even have a little enough needle. So I've done one side. I know it's hard to see. I'll just turn it around. For me, this makes the needle turning easier. I guess if I did it a lot, I wouldn't have to do this. And then what I do is I will literally baste it onto the corner of my block. Isn't it funny how some nights you just, things come together better? Like I can tell already, oh, and I'm going to see who's out there, that hopefully I won't jinx it, but this block is coming out better than last week's block. Okay. So literally what I do now is I have this little piece. Cut the ends. I know this isn't very much fun to watch, really. I hope you're all getting a lot of your project done. See, so I've basted that one on, and I'll go baste the others. Let's see who's out there. I heard a beep. Oh, hello, Sarah. Sarah, who is en route home, says she's watching the end of FiberCast on her phone, and she loves the Dear Jane block. Well, thank you. I attribute you to this craziness. Sarah was the one who turned me on to Dear Jane. We all have someone who does that, don't we? Okay. Welcome Annie B and Linda and Joanne and Maxie and Diane and Dot Matrix. That's an interesting name. And Veronica. Hello. Hi, Norma. Says she's watching tonight, not doing any quilting for a few days. Going to be doing my spring cleaning this week. Hope you have a nice weekend. Oh, good for you. Oh, I need to do that too. And if I start to tackle it and do little parts at a time, that's how it'll get done. Well, enjoy. Cherry. Cherry says, hi, this is Cherry. She's working on her hexies. It's her first try. I have 1 down and 6 to go. She's going to make a pin cushion. Excellent. Ooh, you're going to have fun with that. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Cherry. Hey, Hexie again, says Patty. Went to a quilt shop in Brady, Texas, she says. She just picked up a Sue Daly Designs turntable. Ooh, that sounds great. She says, yay for me. Thank you for your show, Patty in Brownwood, Texas. Thank you for keeping me company while we sew. Susan says, Lynn, oh, okay. So Susan is not doing D-4 yet, like I said, like we're doing. She's doing A11, Pebbles Protest. She says, I'm working on A11, haven't worked up the courage to do any applique or Y seams yet. You can do it. Excellent. Oh, Marquet. She says, hello, I'm watching tonight from rainy Eastern Kentucky. You're not sewing either with your cousin isn't sewing either. Because I got a new 1960 Singer Model 600 gear-driven machine yesterday, and I am cleaning her up. You have a lot of machines. You are so funny. She was a very dirty girl, but is looking better. Thanks for FiberCast tonight. Have a great weekend. Oh, you have a great weekend too. Oh, wonderful. Well, I think I've got everyone. I don't want to miss anyone. Sarah, if you didn't catch it, I'll make sure to take pictures tomorrow of the dolls. Okay, so I'm literally going to leave that. And now I'm going to do my other 3. I'm going to baste my other 3 applique pieces. What else did I have to show? Oh, before I do that, though, let's go through. I wanted to show you that I made the the label for the quilt behind me. I hope you can read that. It's nothing fancy, but I'm going to put it on the back. Hopefully we'll be sleeping under that by the end of the week. And why don't we, while we've got some time here, let's look at some more Dear Jane blocks. We've come so far, and yet we have so far to go. Let me see what A11 Pebbles looks like. I should have done that. This is the one. Oh, so we have done it. Okay. So this is the one that Sue Norton is working on now out there. A11. And it looks like I made A11 with that green fabric back January 15th, 2012. And here's what I said. Cold morning, took dogs for a walk, read about multiple sclerosis, read a book about multiple sclerosis because one of Bob's band members' sons had just been diagnosed. Oh, made this block. It was tricky, had to hand sew the corners on. And then I made the comment, I love this fabric. It's an oldie but a goodie. So Sue, that's interesting. Maybe you'll have to do some applique. Let's see if we can find that. These end up being like trading cards. I'll be curious, Joyce, if you're bringing yours to the retreat. Wow. I don't know if I did this right. Oh yeah, I guess I did. Okay. So Sue, here is my A11 Pebbles. Pebbles Protest. Huh. It's pretty, huh? I can't wait to see yours. Your purple one. Okay, so in the last remaining couple of minutes, we'll just look at these other ones. That's A12, A13. I've made a couple of these so far. Those will take a while. And I know you've all seen these before. I'm going with lighter and darker, all beachy colors. So as we close out another FiberCast, keep remembering that we're only a week away from spring. And spring cleaning sounds like a great idea. Take it slowly. When in doubt, sew instead. Quilt instead. We're almost. Huh. And that one, I think we did this one last year on the vineyard. And look at that, I haven't cut away other than that one little piece, and you can tell. I'll have to trim that out. Well, so that's another episode of Dear Jane. I think we're about done. Oh, here's one more. And just pin this. Okay. So we didn't quite get her done, but we're on our way. D-4 Crystal Star. Thanks for joining me for FiberCast. Again, have a great week, and hopefully there's some sun where you are. Keep thinking spring. For those of you down under, think fall. Is that what's coming? And thanks for joining me. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.